Hello, everyone. Welcome to Redfish Bluefish. My name is Jason, your host for the evening. I'm trying a new audio solution. Hopefully, it's a lot better. We will see how it goes this time. Looks like we have a few people filtering in. I think LRB Aquatics is still on, and he's wrapping up a stream. Sometimes he runs a little bit over. That's fine. We have plenty of time tonight. Let's see. So far in the house, it looks like we have Cichlids 23, Reels Tanks, and Joe Clyde. Welcome, everyone. We'll just do a quick check of the audio. Pardon if you get any echoes. Hopefully, we're getting audio here. Test, test, test. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to ask, let me just mute this. I'd like to ask any viewers if audio is good. Looks like, oh, Father Fish is here. Welcome, Father Fish. Thank you so much. And Father Fish says audio is perfect. Nice. Reels Tank. Welcome, Reels Tank. How am I? I'm great. I'm really pumped up about going live this evening. I got this cool. Doesn't look very cool on me, but I got this cool new solution. This kind of Bluetooth. It's basically like this call center headset, and it's got this little mouthpiece. And I was playing with it earlier, testing, and major improvement over what we were dealing with before. Got a lot more people filtering in. We have a really special show today. This is going to be part 2 of our special science series on DIY aquatic plant tissue cultures. We're here already in the plant tissue culture lab. I'll step back in a moment and give you guys a little bit of a view on what I've got set up here. I've been busy at work. I've been doing some prep work, and yeah, I didn't want to waste too much time cleaning stuff. That's a little bit boring for you guys to watch. So got a little bit ahead of that. Looks like we have some more people coming in. Punchy Paints is in the house. Pam, thank you so much for stopping by. I'll be in and out until Lucas is done. Okay, great. Yeah, no problem. Thanks so much, Pam. I was thinking Lucas might run a little bit over this evening. Let me give you guys a little bit of a look what I've got going on in here. I have been very busy at work, getting things prepped. As you can see, actually, I'll give you guys a little bit of a look at the filming setup this evening. Got this desk set up here. It's basically a computer workstation. This is the tripod I shoot on a lot of times. It's a pretty nice tripod. It's got a light on it. But got it set up there next to the table, which has been thoroughly sterilized, thoroughly cleaned. Got our equipment here we talked about before. We've got jars of already sterilized water, more smaller containers of sterilized water, and some other stuff going on. So I've been very, very busy in here getting things prepped. Get this set back up. Hopefully we've got a few more people filtering in, maybe 1 or 2 more. Look like we have Cichlids 23. Welcome very much. Welcome very much. So what are we going to be doing today? We're going to be tissue culturing Ludwigia Repens Mini Super Red. If you prefer, just Ludwigia Repens. Just so happens to be a strain that stays really much smaller than normal, much shorter than normal. It's very, very red. It's a really red plant. It turns red with even medium amounts of light underwater, tiny bit of CO2. Stuff is great. I will share with you guys. Actually, let me turn on some light, some additional light. Might help a little bit. So I will share with you guys um, the super secret lab protocol on how to micropropagate Ludwigia Repens. Maybe I'll put it in the description later or something, but here it is. That is how it's done. I'll go through it and explain how we do it. So we use Mershage and Skoog 1962, very common. We're going to use Agar to solidify it as the gelling agent. We're going to go with 3% weight volume of sucrose. We're going to use thidiazerone, that's TDZ. And we're going to use naphthalene acetic acid, that's NAA. Those are our two hormones regulators that we're going to use. One's an auxin, one's a cytokinin. Remember we talked about that two weeks ago. And you may have noticed we have a pH. Yes, we have to adjust the pH of the media before we do anything on it. So that's basically where we're going to start. We're going to start with that. I'm going to move the camera, get it set up so you can see the table as I work. Sorry for the shaking. Bear with me. Try to get it as close as possible here. Maybe swing it down a bit. Yeah, I think that'll work. If not, we can adjust as we go along. Make some room up here. This is all sealed. Okay. So our formula calls for this. Let's see if I can get a little closer. Looks good. Okay. We're going to add 4.43 grams of Mershage and Skoog 1962, which is, I'll get it in a bit. We're going to add 0.7% Agar, 3% weight volume of sucrose, that's sugar. TDZ and NAA are our auxin and cytokinin. And then we have to adjust the pH to 5.6 prior to autoclaving. So that's what we're going to do. All right. Beakers, gotta love them. This is the 1,000 ml beaker. When you do this, so we're gonna start with 1,000 milliliters of water. Actually, not start with. That's what we're going to use in this. 1 liter of water, 1,000 milliliters. See, 1,000. Okay. We always start with 800. Never 1,000. This is pure water. This has already been autoclaved. I always autoclave. You see 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got tons of water over here. It's sealed, perfectly sterile. I always start with tons and tons of water. because you need tons and tons of sterile water for sterilization, cleaning, and rinsing. We go through a lot of water in this process. So this is 800 milliliters of water. By the way, as I work, I'm going to talk to you guys about certain things. I'm sure I don't have to tell you guys this. You probably already remember it from science. By the way, I don't need to be sterile at this point, right? I've got the flow hood on because some of this stuff is already sterilized, but I can touch this. This is going to be autoclaved, whatever. So I'm sure you guys remember from science that metric system is the system of science. We do not use the imperial system at all. And this is really sealed. We don't use the imperial system at all. So I will be speaking in terms of liters, milliliters, grams, that sort of thing. Never the imperial system. Okay, so I'm going to add 800 mils of water. It should be right at 800. Almost. That's fine. Set this aside. So what we do, normally what we would do is if we had plenty of time, we would heat it with this heating plate. And in fact, I am going to use the heating plate. What I'll probably do though, let me get this heating plate started. Sorry. Okay. There we go. Needed some power. Okay. So often when I'm working in here, I just use the magnetic stir, the heating plate to heat this stuff up, which I'll do now. I can turn it on and heat it up all day long. But in this part of the process, our goal is to get this water nice and hot, not boiling, but really good and hot. It's a lot more convenient to use a microwave if you have one nearby, because we don't need to be sterile at this point. So that's what I'll actually do to save a bit of time. I'll be right back. Okay, well that's going. And come back and have a look at chat, see what's going on. So we'll microwave that 800 milliliters of water for about 3 or 4 minutes. It's a lot faster than using this thing here. Oh boy, okay, who do we have in here? Let's see, let's go through the list. Bear with me, people. Looks like we have Aqua Balls, Big J's Fish Keeper, Cichlids 23, Cody-san, Korai Oslem, Mikaim, Punchy Paints, and Reels Tanks, and William Pridemore. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this evening, this fine Friday evening, or for some of you, it very well could be a Saturday morning, I would imagine. Really appreciate you coming by and spending time with me here at Redfish Bluefish. See what's going on in chat here. Aqua Balls, how's it going, buddy? Oh, guys, it has been one heck of a week. I tell you, I am glad to see the back of it. So right now, for you guys filtering in, this is our micropropagation protocol here. I'll show it to the camera. This is a micropropagation protocol for Ludwigia Repens Mini Super Red. This is the formula for what we add to the tissue culture media. We're going with Murashage and Skoog 1962, 4.43 grams, 0.7% agar for stiffening at the end, 3% weight volume and sucrose, that's table sugar, TDZ and NAA, those are our oxidant and cytokinin that we're working with, and we're going to pre-adjust before we autoclave to a pH of 5.6. That is not this recipe, if you will, for this media. This is not an uncommon recipe at all. TDZ and NAA work on a lot of different plants. TDZ is particularly helpful working with one plant in particular that is not legal in very many states, if you guys know what I mean. This is how we adjust the pH. Hydrochloric acid, this is 1 mole. You got to be careful with this stuff. Let me put this back. I saw a question or two. Cichlids23 asked, why 5.6? So that's a good question. As it turns out, plants in tissue culture form have a really hard time absorbing nutrients. They don't have a vascular system, so to speak. They don't have roots, any of that stuff. So they're basically living off of sugar and other carbon, sources of carbon that we give them. And in order for them to be able to absorb that cellularly without roots, we have to carefully balance the pH. Some plants are at a pH of 6.0, some are 5.2, but 5.4 to 5.6, based off of experimentation, definitely is the sweet spot. Well, it looks like we've got some more people filtering in. We've got Hepling Creek Aquatics. We have Sherry Kramer. We have Silly Susie. We have Dr. Black 66. Welcome, Blackie. So awesome of you guys to come on by. Let me see if I can rotate this over. Oh. Hello. So in another minute or two, our water should be ready. Oh, my lab assistant, my wife, is scurrying out of the room. Pew, there she goes. She's gone. Thank you, dear. My lab assistant brought me this this water. We've got to get our hardcore gloves for handling extremely hot things. Okay, here we have 800 milliliters of water. I'll refocus the camera in a moment. We need 1,000 mils of water, one liter. But we start with 800 because it's just so much easier to work with. If you overfill it, you're trying to work with, you have very little room to work with. So we have most of our water. Going to add our nutrients, our sucrose, and our hormones. Let me go grab that really quickly. The reason why I don't have it here, that stuff has to be kept very cold. Be right back. Okay, we are back. Sorry about that. Okay, so we've got our hormones, our auxin, our cytokinin, we've got our TDZ, our NAA, we've got our MNS 1962. That's going to give us our nutrients, our amino acids, all that good stuff. Got to keep it in here. This stuff has to stay cold. And of course, our carbon source, sugar. Sugar, sugar. Always use that stuff. This is really nice and hot. .53°C, that's plenty hot enough for us to dissolve some sugar and some stuff in. Okay. Turn our heat on. Get our magnetic stirrer. I usually use these medium-sized ones, they're fine. I think these are the 3/4 inch. And then start stirring. So let's measure out. Let's talk about weight volume. Okay, we use weight volume a lot. You notice here it says 3% weight volume sucrose. They're talking about 3% weight volume of the weight volume of water. How much water? 1 liter. That's how much we're going to end with. It's 1,000 liters, right? Or 1,000 milliliters. So 3% weight volume of 1,000 milliliters is 30 grams. Exactly. So I am going to measure out 30 grams of sugar with one of these critters, these things. You'll use these a lot in tissue culture. These are called weigh boats. Weigh as in how much does it weigh, and boat as in I'm on a boat. Man, things are really packing this. I'm going to measure out 30 grams of sucrose and add it to the water, the hot water. I'm not going to film me working on the scale over here. All you guys have seen digital scales before. This scale has already been calibrated. I calibrated the pH, the scale, the pH meter, everything this morning. The scale maxes out at 200 grams, and it's a milligram scale, so it's got quite the range. So we're zeroed out at 0.00 grams. Okay. It's almost 10, 15. 22. Almost there. Jump right in and use my hands to actually closely measure sugar. It's so fine. There you go. 30 on the money, 30 grams. Technically 30.02, but whatevs. Totally close enough. We are not splitting the atom here. It doesn't have to be that precise. Now your hormones, your cytokinins and your auxins, they do. Those do have to be precise for sure. Otherwise, bad things will happen. Okay. Sorry, I'm off camera. Okay. Stir it a little bit. Less violently. Okay. We're good there. So there's nothing special about how you add the sugar. You just freaking add it, 30 grams. And it will dissolve. This is just regular old sucrose, guys, white sugar. This is actually sugar that we buy to feed all of our hummingbirds that visit us year-round on beautiful Whidbey Island here. Okay, so we've got our sugar added. That's dissolving nicely. We don't want to add any agar yet, of course. One moment. Okay. We can use the same weigh boat that we just used to measure out an appropriate amount of MNS. 1962 formula, that's Murashage and Scoob. Basal vitamins with amino acids, 4.43 grams. You do want to be very, very precise on that. Using too little is bad, using too much is really bad. So once again, just like I did last time, make sure that's nice and aired out. Put it on our scale and turn it on. Okay. MNS 1962 is what we're going to add next. The second component of our Basil medium, of our media that we're making. I buy this from Phytotech Lab. Phytotechlab.com. Murashage and Scoob Basil Medium with vitamins. Product number M519. This entire thing will make 10 liters, 10 of those. So we measure out 4.43 grams of this. It comes mixed. It's a powder, kind of a golden colored powder. It's not sterile. You don't have to worry about it. I don't know if you can see that. It's really yellow colored. I see a question down there. I'll have to get to that. So we measure out 4.43 grams of this, and then we add it to that. When you're not using this, even though it's a powder, you need to keep this refrigerated. It degrades really quickly. It's got amino acids in it. One moment. Grab some quickly. Okay, guys. How do I get a little scooper? I see a question from Mike M. What is happening with the temp during this procedure? Do you mean the temp here? If you do, it's just staying really hot. I've got it set at about 85C. 85C. So I want to keep this nice and hot. We just threw 30 grams of sugar into it, and it's stirring with the magnetic stir bar here. So Got my little hooper scooper. I'm going to add 4.43 grams of M519 MNS over here to our weigh boat. We want 4.43 on the money. Very important. No more, no less. Let's see, that's almost 1. Two. 3. Almost there. 4.43 exactly. All right. Put this back in our refrigerated chamber here. Seal it back up. Okay, this stuff, this is our MNS. This is 4.43 grams. We add it very, very slowly. It's very light. This flow hood will blow it all over the place if you're not careful, if I'm not careful. And it will clump too, which is a bummer when that happens. Really small amounts, really fine. Keep it low. All right, sweet. Get it all out of there. I like these plastic weigh boats. They're really thin. They weigh like nothing. They make paper weigh boats, but these plastic ones are much more expensive. But the great thing about them is, if you're dealing with powders or whatever, and it kind of sticks to it because of humidity, you can just, and your solution's not hot, you can just pour a solution over it and let it kind of run back into your container and get all that powder out. We're not going to do that in this case because that's really hot. So now we have 800 mils of water, very hot water, 30 grams of sugar, and 4.43 grams of MNS, Murashage and Scoop, Basil Medium with vitamins and magic. I'm going to sit down for a moment and go to chat and see if I've missed anything. See who we've got in here. Got quite a few. We got Frank White, Miles Fernandez. Thank you very much for joining. See if we have any questions. Miles Fernandez asked, "How many cultures will it will it make?" That's a good question. This will probably 1 liter will probably do 16 little containers. 16. I'll show you what they look like, Miles. I use custom. You know when you buy tissue cultures, they come in those little flimsy kind of plastic Dixie cup looking things with film over the top. I don't like those. I use these. They're hard, polycarbonate. They're autoclavable. They're really tough. Got a rigid lid and everything. It'll make 1 liter could do 16 of these. It depends on how much media you pour, of course. Dr. Black, you like that shirt? Yes, sir. Thank you. That is Run the Jewels. Really dig them. Okay, so we're ready for hormones. My favorite part. We've got our M&S added. It's mixed up very well. It's not precipitated at all. Our sugar's long dissolved. Got our hot water. And now, the magic. Actually, let me scooch this over very carefully. I don't like doing this, but scooch this over really gently. No whammies. Okay. So we're going to add thidiazuron. This. Okay, guys, this part is really quite important. This is what we're going to add. Thidiazuron. This is a solution. I buy it from Phytotech Labs, just like this. This is 1 milligram per milliliter. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. 1 milligram per milliliter. The recipe calls for, this is really important. It calls for TDZ 0.05 milligrams. All right? So if 1 milliliter is 1 milligram, how many drops is in, how many like drops of water, you know, drops? How many drops is in a milliliter? Exactly 20. There's exactly 20 drops of any thin aqueous solution like water, you know, whatever, milk, whatever you're talking about, coffee. That stuff's all water, right? So there's 20 drops of water will give you 1 mil of water. So if this is 1 milligram per milliliter, we take 1.00 and divide it by 20. What does that give us? It gives us 0.05. You guys can work the math out. So what I'm getting at is this stuff is so powerful that for an entire liter that we're making, we add 1 drop. That's it. 1. And we're going to do that. Hopefully you guys tracked my math there. 1 milligram per milliliter. There's 20 drops in 1 milliliter. We take 1 and divide it by 20. That gives us 0.05. So we're adding 1 drop. Oh, geez. Scalpel. It's brand new. It's never even been opened. This is sterile, by the way. This liquid hormone is sterile already. It was cold filtered, cold filtered. Ran it through a filter that filters out all the little creepy crawlies. All right. Before we get that, we have to get our eyedroppers clean. Get my gloves. Okay. Alcohol, always sterilize. Use a lot of alcohol, tons. Need something for waste. There we go. This is bleach, I was using it to sterilize the bulbs for these eyedroppers. Eyedroppers are a massive source of contamination in labs. They have that little bulbous part that holds air. You gotta be careful with that stuff. All right, now this is sterilized water. I've got a bunch of it. I'm gonna use it for rinsing. Opening it up, pouring some in the same container that had those eyedropper bulbs in it. About half of it. Seal it. Seal this. Shake, shake, shake. Okay. More alcohol. All right. Sweet. You can just use your hands for this, it doesn't matter. And then we put these bulbs on our droppers, or pipettes. These things are fun. Okay, there we go. And the second one. I know you guys can't see really well right now, and I apologize for that, but I'm just getting these little squeeze bulbs put back on these pipettes, these eyedroppers. Okay. And they're sitting in alcohol, so stay nice and sterile. All right, so we're done with this. This is actually wastewater. Let me adjust the camera up maybe a little bit. There we go. Hopefully that's okay. All right. EDZ, our goal is 1 drop, and 1 drop only. I want to be really careful with this because this entire bottle is sterile. I want to keep it that way. One drop. That's it. Set that aside. Put this back. And now we're working with naphthalene acetic acid, NAA. Okay? Go back to our instructions. TDZ 0.05 milligram, NAA 0.10 milligram. Just like before. Where is it? Yeah. 1 milligram per milliliter. Same thing, except double. 2 drops, right? Okay. We'll use our other dropper. Hasn't been used yet. Two drops. One, two. Okay. Next, so let's see. We've got our water, most of it anyway. We've got our M&S. We've got our sugar. We've got our TDZ. And we've got our NAA. Okay. What we don't have yet is our Agar. Should be the last component that we need. We got a question here. Let me answer this. Mike M asks, what exactly happens to the hormones if not kept cool? They degrade. They degrade pretty quickly, actually. Some of them degrade really much more quickly than others. TDZ is particular. Actually, NAA is bad. That breaks down pretty quickly. Some are heat label. Some are some are sensitive to light. I really like the ones that aren't sensitive to anything. You can autoclave them. You can do whatever you want, and they just keep on going. So, unfortunately, fortunately, both of these are not sensitive to autoclaving. So we can autoclave both of these hormones. That's what we're going to do. All right. So Agar. Where was I? Agar. Okay. Now, let's talk about Agar a little bit. There is not one size fits all for Agar. This is A111. This is a grade of Agar. This is plant tissue culture grade. This is the gel strength of this is ridiculous. So if you go off of what you're supposed to use, and you use what literature tells you you're supposed to use, it's going to be way too stiff. It's going to be like a brick when it sets. So you got to go really light on this stuff. And I'm probably going to use, probably use 3 grams. Yeah, just 3 grams of this. And I'll use the same whey boat that we used before because it's all going to go together in the end. So let me measure out some Agar. All right. Now the Agar, you have to add so slowly, so gradually. Nothing clumps quite like Agar does. Trust me there. If you just forget and you dump it all in, oh man, you really just messed up big time. You have to very slowly add it. So get 3 grams. There we go. 3 grams on the dot. There we go. It's a fine powdery substance. Very slowly add it. This is our gelling agent. This is eventually what's going to gel everything up. Adding it super slowly. All right. And that is it. Except for water. Remember, we have to add 200 mils of additional water because that's just 800. Our MNS, our agar, our sugar, our cytokinin, and our hormone. We have to adjust our pH. It's another thing we have to do. Almost always forget that. Okay, so let's add some more water. This is sterile. First, let me put some alcohol here. Oh man, sealed really well. Okay, it's a serious seal, man. Add 200 mils more. There we go. Scooch this back over here. Got it. Okay. Now we have to measure our pH and adjust for it. We're shooting for a pH of 5.6. It definitely won't be 5.6 for sure. Turn the heat down a bit. This is a waterproof pH meter. It also withstands a great deal of heat. I just calibrated it today. Turn it on. I don't know if you can see the numbers it's going through its kind of boot up procedure. I was jumping all over the place because it's just in the air, right? So these pH meters, they're very, very sensitive. They're very accurate, but they're slow. You have to leave them in the solution for a while. You see, we're bang on 6.0, right? We need it at 5.6, not 6.0. So if we make the pH go down, that's what? Acidic, right? So in order to make it go down, we need to add an acid. We're going to do that. This aside here. Okay. We have our 1 mole hydrochloric acid. I'm going to add 1 drop at a time. Be very careful with this stuff if you're messing with it at home. It's not for fun and games. This stuff will hurt you. Just straight up hydrochloric acid. Okay. Got our acid. The transfer pipette, I'm going to add 1 drop. 1. Put that acid back in there. Set this aside. Reboot our device. Let it go through its thing. And 5.9 is what it's reading. Still 5.9. Okay, I'm going to add one more drop. See what that brings it to. It's bouncing all over the place right now. $5.8. One more drop. $5.7. Wow. All right, one more. $5.6. Wait a minute. Is it? 5.7. Oh, 5.6. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see that. Just bounced up to 5.7. It's kind of dancing between 5.6 and 5.7. There we go. That's what we wanted. A pH of 5.6. Now, since this is already open, I'm going to use it to rinse my pH meter. These things are really expensive, and you don't want to let anything that you've been measuring like dry on it, because these little glass sensors are very sensitive and expensive. There we go. All right. So I've just shown you guys how to make strain initiation media for Ludwigia Repens. Let me put this acid away so I don't melt my face on accident. All right. We did our M&S. Well, we got 1 liter of water now, right? We did our M&S 1962, 4.43 grams, 0.7% worth of agar, 3% weight volume sucrose, 0.05 milligrams TDZ, 0.10 milligrams naphthalene acetic acid. We pre-autoclave adjusted to a pH of 5.6. We literally followed the rules. All right? Very complex, right? Actually, not really. If you're just methodical and you stage your equipment and your materials in advance, it's not that bad. Clean up a little bit. Let me sit down for just a moment. And have a look at chat. This is going to be a long live stream, guys. We're just going to keep pushing until we get through it, unless disaster strikes. Oh goodness. Ah. Hello, everyone. Let me tilt this up a little bit so you can see my smiling face. There we go. That's better. Okay. Oh dear, dear, dear. Okay, let's see what's going on in chat. Oh, goodness gracious. It's really warm in Florida right now. Where did I see that? Yeah, I bet it is. I bet it's nice too. Oh, goodness gracious. So hopefully there aren't any questions that you guys have right now. I've been trying to show you exactly what I'm doing step by step, so you can follow along. But if you do have any questions, of course, drop it in chat now that I'm sitting down for a moment and taking a break. Sorry, give me a few. It's actually really hot. These hot plates and stuff, it's really hot in here. That's why I've been wiping my brow off camera. Dr. Black 66, RFBF. Haircut twinsies. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I call it my aerodynamic look. You know, it's a bit of a bummer in the winter though. After you've been letting it kind of get out of hand. You know, what I do is I get a little bit lazy about cutting my hair, and then it kind of gets itchy a little bit. And I'm like, okay, you know, I gotta get it shaved and get my wife to shave it for me. Of course, save a few bucks, bust out the razors and just shave my head, and then I go outside, and it's a big wake up call. Wow, um, very noticeable. We got a question from Peplin Creek Aquatics, redfish, bluefish. Where do you buy your supplies? I buy my supplies from Phytotech Labs. Is it phytotechlab.com? I think it's lab singular. Let me check. Oh yeah, here it is. Here we go. It is. Here we go. Pepin Creek Aquatics. Here's the company right here, Phytotech Labs. I think their URL is phytotechlab.com, singular. You could Google it, but yeah, phytotechlab.com. They're in Kansas. Really good customer service, great products. They know exactly what they're talking about. This is their business, plant tissue culture and for cellular biology supplies. That's all they sell. I got my flow hood from a company named, gosh, I was going to give them a plug, and now I've kind of blanked on their name. Um, LM Air Technology. Sorry, I had to look at the label. So yeah, my supplies I get from Phytotech Labs. They have a great selection, and they're very helpful. Oh, Cichlids23 asks, do they have those pH sensors on Amazon? They might. I think they do. Yeah, I think they do. These. Oh, wait a minute. No, I got this one from Granger Lab Supply. This thing was, gosh, don't get me lying. This is the Eco Tester pH1. It's waterproof. Um, I think this was maybe $150, something like that. They're not cheap. They're pretty pricey, but they're well worth it. Oh, thank you, Candy. Candy Overholes, dropping the link in chat. Yes, lmairtech.com. They're based out of New Jersey. They make these flow hoods for air sterilization. By far the most affordable while being the best, yet the loudest. I don't know if you can hear it running. They're pretty loud. But bang for your buck, no one can touch these guys. Okay. So now we're basically at the point to where we can pour this media into our little containers, load them up in an autoclave, and then cook them. Which is cool because then I can really chill while the autoclave is rocking. And then after it's finished rocking, we got to unload them and let them cool before we can do anything to them because they're really hot when they come out. So I will continue yakking to you guys while I get these containers ready, prepped. I'll show you guys what I have here. Clearly, you can tell, straight from China for sure. I have a large collection of all kinds of goodies in this lab. This is how I get these containers. These huge stacks. These are the lids. Jeez. By the way, they're really tight when you first get them. Pain to get off. But once you autoclave them, they loosen up a little bit. So I've got about, I don't know, 1,000 in here. I don't know how many tons. Tons. So we're going to get Probably 8 of them. We'll do 8. We'll do 8 tissue cultures. We don't need any more than that. I could do 20 actually, 16 to 20 with 1 liter, but you know, man, holy smokes! There we go. Like I said, these are autoclavable. You can melt them if you really try, but in an autoclave, they're okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at that. Make sure we have 8 lids. Show you guys what I'm doing here. Stupid tripod. There we go. Sorry, I can't see chat right now. I'll check in a little while. All right. So basically, we're ready to pour these guys. Just wanted to make sure I have enough lids. Since my eyesight is not great, sometimes I have to work by touch. All right. So we'll plan on, we'll do 8, maybe 10. I don't know. I don't even know if we'll do that many. So we don't have to worry about sterility right now. We don't care that we're not sterile at the moment. We do care about not burning the bejesus out of ourselves with this hot glassware I'm about to grab. So let me get the correct glove. Turn the stir off and the heat. Oh, actually, let me show you guys something. I don't know if you guys have ever worked with magnetic stirrers or lab equipment, anything like that. It's called a magnetic stir bar retriever. So the idea is you turn the stir off, grab it with the glove, and then you can get your stir bar out of there like that. It comes right out, okay? Like that. Set that aside here. Don't need it anymore. You want to keep the heat on though, because it has agar in it and it will set if you don't keep it hot. So we got the stir bar out, the stir is turned off, we're ready to pour. Actually, let me just aside a bit. All right. This stuff is wicked hot. If you pour it on yourself, it is not a pleasant experience. Trust me on that. It sticks to you. I'm pouring a lot more than I normally do. I don't want to conserve. I don't want to make 20 tissue cultures. I'm being purposefully wasteful here. That's okay. This is a bit of an experiment. Show you guys how this stuff is done. We used almost all of it. There we go. And pop our lids on. Turn our heat off. That's going to be fun to get off later. That's really tight. All right, here we go. Last one. Actually, this is the last one. All right. Here we go. So someone was asking how many of these will like 1 liter make. I've got 8 here. You see the volume. Normally I would pour about half that amount, about half that, but I'm using extra just because. All right. Before we do anything, I always want to keep clean in the lab. We're done with this. Let me move it. Be right back. Okay. So now, move this out of the way. Looks like we might have a question in here. Reels Tank said, most hoods I have seen used are a box with sliding glass front. How does yours stay sterile when on and in use? Reels Tanks, thanks for the question. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, a lot of flow hoods that you see will have like a glass wall here and a glass wall over here and a glass top basically, and this end is open, and that glass box kind of butts up against the flow hood and outputs air. The reason why this one keeps things sterile without that glass, part of it, Reels Tanks, is because I'm working directly in front of it right here. Now, let me angle the camera up. There we go. Now, whenever you've got, a glass, basically a glass box here, and it's keeping, side currents from coming in and messing you up, that's definitely better to have. You don't need to use it. What that actually buys you is the ability to sit down like this and work way back here, like really comfy. You can sit down and because the glass comes way out to here, you don't have to get really close to the front basically. The only reason why this works is because I'm not working way over here. I'm working here. You see? So hopefully that answers your question. I do plan to upgrade this flow hood in the future. I'm probably going to build the glass case myself. It doesn't make any sense to buy one. I mean, build that stuff myself. So hopefully that answers your question. Miles Fernandez, looks like you asked a question. Thought it makes 16. Yes, it does make 16. Yeah, it does make 16. 1 liter can make 16. Actually, you can get 20. But I poured these extra. I used a lot of media in these on purpose because I don't want to make 16 or 20 of them. That's just more work I have to do tonight. I want to make a few tissue cultures, not a ton. Sorry if I misread that statement as a question. Okay, let's load the autoclave. It's still really hot, I'm sure. Would not be the first time I have grabbed this thing while it's still hot and gotten a nasty wake up. Okay. Stack these up over here. Okay. Got this. All right. So, as you can see, this massive autoclave, nice and empty. Got this in the bottom. All right. Load these guys up. See if I can get them all on the bottom, hopefully. Nice. All right. Okay. Got all 8 in there. We don't actually have to sterilize anything else because I sterilized everything earlier today. I'm just going to add plenty of water, actually. Get a container. You know what? I think I'll just take you guys up to the kitchen, actually. Yeah, why not? Let me move this up first. I'll be right back. All right. I'll move the camera up. Pardon the wobbling camera stuff, guys. Okay. And we are now in my kitchen. Okay. I see somebody on my cell phone through the screen asking a question, but I couldn't read it. So I will get to that question when we get back downstairs. There we go. Okay. We've got our 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 containers in there with our liquid medium. All of our stuff is in there. The lids are snapped on. I've made sure that none of these polycarbonate containers are actually on the inside, that they're touching like one of the sides of the pressure cooker. You don't want that. You don't want them touching the sides on the inside. Just make sure that you see air between them and the metal on the sides, if you can avoid it, because they will warp them a little bit. So it is dry now. We're about to add some water. I always use either distilled or RO water in my autoclaves, because if you don't, the minerals and the scaling and stuff that's left behind is just yuck. Oh, really nasty. I'm going to add a whole bunch of water to the bottom of it, making sure I don't pour it, directly over the on top of the individual containers. Get another large container here. Add that. That's plenty of water. Okay, you never want to ever accidentally run these things dry, because they'll melt. I don't know if you've ever seen someone accidentally run a pressure cooker dry. I did it yesterday. Oops. And it melted it. It actually warped it. I'll show it to you later. Warped the bottom out. We make sure that we seal the lid properly. Close it by twisting. Boom. We've got our water. Got about 3/4 of an inch of water in there, maybe more. I actually use more water than other people do, because I don't like ruining these autoclaves, these pressure cookers. So we've got a liter in there of liquid. The rule is, for autoclaving media, 1 liter, 30 minutes at 15 psi's, 15 pounds per square inch. Okay? In order to bring it up to temp, this is how you do it. You remove that weight. This little weight that comes with these pressure cookers, these things, you take it off totally. Then you turn your stove on ripping high in the beginning, just like that. See? It's not exactly on high, but close. Right? And what you're doing is you're chilling and you're watching this spigot right here. This spigot. You're waiting to see like little droplets of water to start popping out, and a little puffs of steam. When you start seeing that, then you put the weight on, not before. It's a good idea to let it, start venting steam, visibly venting steam, before you slap the 15 psi weight on. Once you do slap this weight on, you need to look at that gauge and watch it. Do not start your 30-minute countdown until that needle has reached 15. Because until it does, you are not killing microorganisms. It takes heat, pressure, time. That's how autoclaves work. So we're just going to chill here and wait for this thing to come up to speed. Heat, actually. Let me take that off. I'll sit here and wax poetical as I sip my really cold tea. Yuck. Let me heat it up. Ah, yes. So this is going to take a while to bring this thing to get it boiling, a few minutes anyways. Once it does, I can set the timer, slap the weight on it, and head back down to the lab. Excellent. Okay. I know what I can show you guys while we wait for that to come up to come to a boil. I'll show you my wife's little aquarium here with my prized guppy in it, my favorite guppy, my breeder guppy. We've decided to name him because he's so small. His name is Peter, but you can call him Little Pete. See if I can get this tripod over here. What's up, buddy? What's up, bud? This is Little Pete. He is irreverent, disrespectful. I'm joking. You guys hungry? Of course. They're fish. They're always hungry. Give them a little bit of treat. There you go, buddy. Just a little. He and his 2 wives and his son actually live in here. So we're hoping that we get a lot more fry from Little Pete and his harem. I'll let you guys enjoy while I walk back over here. Waiting for this to come up to a boil is really exciting. We had actually CO2 going in here. Let me see if I can reposition this better. Sorry. We had CO2 going in here, and ran out, and we just decided, we're just gonna let it be. We've got like, geez, I think 7 or 8 Amano shrimp in here, something insane. Like there's a bunch of Amanos. This is Süßwassertang. This is all Süßwassertang. All of this, the whole bottom of this tank is Süßwassertang. Something about this aquarium, it just grows it like insane. I've noticed that I think that Süßwassertang actually may grow better without CO2 and like a low-tech tank, as weird as it sounds. It's really thick. I don't know if you can see it down here. This is all Süßwassertang. Amano's going through it. Pretty crazy. Anyway, enough of that. See on the flippity flip, little Pete. Let's go back over here and check out our. All right. We're getting close. I can hear it. So before long, well, there we go. We just got, see the water starting to kind of pop out of it. So a couple of more minutes, we'll be able to put the weight on. All right, almost. My sign is, yeah. When it's that hot, when the steam coming out of there is enough to make you jump back, you're good. You put the weight on, and now we wait for that to indicate 15 psi's, and then we can start our timer for 30 minutes. This pressure cooker, I don't know if you guys have used them before, this autoclave pressure cooker, whatever you want to call it. This one has a lock. It'll pop up and actually lock it. It'll prevent you, once that pops up, there's enough pressure in it and it pops it up. It prevents you from opening it while it's pressurized. So that's a pretty decent little safety feature there. Or you could just not open pressure cookers when they're pressurized. So it's trying to lock. There we go. It's locked. See, it pops up like that and locks itself. You can hear tiniest amount of pressure escaping. That's normal. As the pressure builds, it'll seal itself up. Usually when the pressure starts climbing, it climbs very, very quickly and reaches 15 in no time flat. There we go. We're climbing. We're at about 2, 3. Okay, it looks like we're at 5 psi. I know this is incredibly exciting, guys, but it's necessary. It's part of the process. It's a very, very important part of the process. Without this, you're done. Looks like we're at about 7 or 8. Okay, we're definitely over 10 now. $13. Okay, now you can see that the weight is doing its job. It's starting to rock now, and it's starting to release pressure. That's totally what it's supposed to do. If it goes over 15, it basically won't let it. It'll start rocking and release pressure, so we don't blow this thing up and wake the neighbors. Okay, and that's 15. I'm going to set it, 30 minutes. There we go. Now, when you reach 15 psi, you don't have to rock it usually as hot as you had it. Turn it down just a little bit. That should be good. Watch it for another minute. Make sure it doesn't drop. It's very interesting that if you cook this thing, these autoclaves for 30 minutes at 15 psi, you're golden. You're fine. If you cook them for 30 minutes at, let's say, 10 psi, you're not. You will absolutely have contamination. It's interesting that just 5 psi difference over that 30-minute period is enough. Turn it up just a little bit. There we go. So we're going to leave it there for 30 minutes, actually 28 more minutes. And let's head back down. And I will look at chat when we get downstairs. Okay. See how the fish are doing. Okay. Maybe that'll work. Okay. I see some activity in chat. See if we've got some. See, we've got some comments here. Sand Creek Aquatics. At Redfish Bluefish, going live after you. Oh, Sand Creek, are you going live tonight? When are you going live? Please let me know. Mika M asked a question: Is post/after boiling procedure important for chemicals to mix equally in containers when heated, or is there another reason? Hormones, other chemicals to get activated somehow. Okay. I think what you're asking is the hormones that we added. Um, is that what you're asking? Is there a reason why we added them before or after? Why is that important? I just want to make sure that I understand your question before I answer. Reels Tank says, my mom made beans in one of those. A bean plugged the vent. The safety plug blew. She had beans and hot water shooting out like a gun. Yes. Yes, they will. They will do that, man. They put those safety release pressure valves on the top, and yeah, yeah, man. If anything blocks those, I can just imagine she probably was. She has some choice language, I would imagine. Yeah, man. If you impede the vent where gas is supposed to, steam is supposed to release, those things will go, man, and they will definitely. You will not miss it when they go off. Oh boy. What if you use a gas stove or a propane burner? Ooh, no. Mm-mm. With Miles, with these autoclaves, these pressure cookers, you are definitely not supposed to use a flame with them at all. You have to use an element. If you use a flame, it'll warp them. It'll actually, well, it'll melt them. Actually, not melt like liquid, but they'll start to warp. If you've ever seen what happens to a car with aluminum heads when they overheat, the heads warp, like they just bow out. In fact, let me show you guys what happens to an autoclave if you accidentally run the water out of it, like I did. This is what happens. It sucks because they're not cheap. What happens is the bottoms bow on them. You probably can't see, but let me assure you, this is bowed out. Check this out. This is on a flat metal top, right? All I'm going to do is touch it with my hand. See how it's just boing, boing, boing. It's like a bowl now. That's what happens if you accidentally run the water out of these things and you still have them on top of like a stove or something. It makes the bottoms like pooch out like that. And if you keep doing that, they will rupture. They'll go. And you also melt plastic like this. Yes, these safe for autoclaving plastic receptacles that I use, they will definitely melt if you accidentally run the water out. And that's exactly what I did on accident. I've used these devices so many times, and, you know, I ruined this one. So probably won't be the last time. But hey, equipment failures happen. Let's see, we got some more comments, looks like. Peplin Creek Aquatic says, I've used mine for years on a propane stovetop. Wow, that's cool. I have never tried it. I was going off of the directions that came with it and some other videos I've seen on YouTube. And everybody's pretty adamant about, whoa, don't, you're not supposed to use open flame with these. They're aluminum. Maybe you have one that's not aluminum. You might have a really good one that's cast iron or something. These are aluminum. Mika M says, no, I wonder why it is not ready to add plant tissues after cooling, since chemicals are already mixed plus heated once. Yeah, yeah, no. You can add the plant tissue directly to the medium after they're cool. Yes, you can. We added everything, like the carbon source, which is sugar. We added our oxen, our cytokinin, our water, our MNS, which is our amino acids, nutrients, vitamins, all that in one. Let's see, what else do we add? Agar, obviously, to solidify it, and that's it. Yeah, and then we're autoclaving it right now. Maybe you were thrown a little bit when I was talking about heat labile hormones and heat labile cytokinins, stuff like that. So auxins, plant growth hormones, a few of them cannot be autoclaved. You can't autoclave them. If you do, you'll destroy them. Like within minutes, they're gone. So what we do with those is we don't add them until after we've autoclaved the solution. And it's not fun when you have to do that, because what you have to do is, while the autoclave is still ripping hot, you let the pressure equalize and go out of it, and then you, in front of your flow hood, you remove the vessels with your material in it, and you add that heat labile hormone or plant growth regulator while it's still hot and liquid, right? So you add a little bit, and then that's it, and you let them solidify. So you have to add it after you've autoclaved the solution, which means you have to be adding sterile hormone. That heat labile, that heat sensitive hormone that you're adding, has to be sterile, right? You can't autoclave it. So it's very tricky when you work with those. It's a lot of work. Peplin Creek Aquatics, water bath canning, not pressure cooking. Okay, that makes sense. Sand Creek Aquatics says, love the shoes, got a pair. Yeah, I love these house shoes, man. They're the best. I think I've mentioned it before. They are the greatest invention known to man, these house shoes. I have problems with my feet, so I need some comfy shoes. Miles Fernandez said the water evaporates too fast. Yeah, water evaporates really quickly out of those pressure cookers. Definitely. See if we missed any comments when I was got a comment from Dr. Black 66. Speaking of pleasant, I cracked 450 today. Well, Blackie, congratulations. Is that 450 S's? 450 followers of the Dr. Black 66 way? If so, big congrats. That is a major milestone. So I'm going to run up really quickly and take a quick look at that pressure cooker. You guys can talk amongst yourselves. Okay. We got 18 minutes left on that cycle. Let's see who we have in here right now. So after this, we'll bring the clave down, and we're gonna have to let it cool for quite some time, and then crank it open, and then get our TC vessels out, and those are definitely gonna have to cool for a long time because we're using more media in them than I normally do, which means they're gonna cool really slowly. It's a bit of a bummer. So we may not actually be able to do everything tonight. I'm pretty sure we won't, because to let the clave cool and equalize, and then cool enough to where we can get stuff out, and then let that stuff cool once it's out, probably, I don't know, 2 hours. And I don't have it in me to torture you guys for 2 hours. I know that Sand Creek Aquatics was saying he's going to be going live after me. So what I'll do is I'm going to clean up here, and we'll finish that up. I'll bring the clave down here, and we'll see if we can crank it open and unload our TC vessels and get them cooling in front of this flow hood. This flow hood is great. You know, it helps cool things down. That's what we'll do. And then we will probably end it there and let Sand Creek Aquatics go live. And then tomorrow, which is Saturday, I will find an opening in the day, and I'll go live for part 2B, I suppose. Today was part 2A. Tomorrow we'll do 2B. Do some cleaning up here. Oh, thank you very much, Miles Fernandez. He said, "Thanks for the show, bro. It's like school, but it's fish tank related." Well, thanks, man. I hope it's not boring at all. This is I was really taken with the science behind tissue culture, not just plants, but cellular tissue culture, cloning, all kinds of science like that. It's really fascinating to me. And whenever I walked into a pet shop, a fish shop, oh gosh, what was it? 2 years ago, I think, 2.5 years ago, I saw a bunch of ADA tissue cultures for sale. These beautiful little plants sealed in these containers. And it was like I was shot, through the brain. Um, and I just became absolutely fascinated with these cool little plants that you can buy in these little containers, and they have all these varieties. And I became really obsessive about learning about the science because I guess I get kind of manic with stuff like that. I chase things down until I have all those questions answered. And that's kind of how it started. Got some comments from Punchy Paint. To be or not to be? That is the question. Oh, God. Wah, 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 wah. Pam. No, that's good, actually. Miles Fernandez, science is fun. Absolutely, man. Science is super fun. And out of all the sciences, when I was in school, in high school, especially junior high and high school, the life sciences, for me, were the best. Biology, life science, bio 2, I loved it so much. Earth science was okay. It was okay. Chemistry, ironically, what I'm doing here is chemistry, and I hate chemistry because it wasn't applied. I've never liked science or math, for that matter, if it's not applied. If someone's throwing a bunch of facts at me and black and white paper with no practice, no application of it, when I was growing up, I didn't do well with subjects like that. I had to actually get my hands on it and do it in order to understand it. I don't know if you guys were that way, but I am with you, man. Science is groovy. See, Miles Fernandez, I work at a fish shop. Oh, wow. Tell us about that in chat, man. Actually, Miles, I don't know if you've been in here before. I think maybe on the last super chat. Yeah, tell us about your fish shop, man. What part of the country are you in? And while you tell us about that, I'm going to run up and have a quick look at the thingamabob. Oh man, these stairs, I hate them. Ugh. Well, I hear it hissing, which means we're not dry. 12 minutes. Okay. Miles Fernandez says, yep, in Florida it's called something's fishy. Freshwater, saltwater. Nice. I'm going to Google that, dude. Right now, in fact. Something's fishy. I love fish stores, man. Looks like we have one near Orlando and one near Miami. Wonder which one you're in. Miami. Okay, cool. Thanks, Miles. Go back and check it out, Miami. Dude, I'm in Florida sometimes. I will totally go by and loiter at your store. You'll have to run me out of there. You'll be like, man, that plant guy, that weird plant guy from Washington State, he won't leave. Let's check this out. Cool. Very cool, man. Is there, Miles, do you not have a website? Because I Googled it and I see something fishy, 11730 Biscayne Boulevard, Miami, Suite 103, but I don't see a website. Yeah, post the link, man, in chat. Go on ahead. It's totally fine. Hey, Sand Creek, I'll wrap up here soon, buddy, because I want you to be able to go live. And in retrospect, when I think about it, getting the autoclave down here, setting it on the metal, the lab bench, letting it cool. I mean, yeah, we're looking at like 2 hours of letting the multiplication matrix, the media, the stuff we mixed up, get cool enough before we can even do anything with it. So I will wrap up very soon. Nice. All right, Miles, I'll check it out, man. Uh-oh. Zen's not a mod. Well, let's fix that. Zen Ginger, you are now a mod. Let's see. Silly Susie, yes, absolutely. You can ice bath or even cold water bath after an autoclave. You absolutely can, and a lot of the big commercial places do it. I don't because I'm not commercial really. I actually thought of trying to build an ice bath one of these days because I'm a science guy, an engineer, I'm an architect. I like building stuff, so one of these days I might try to build one. Yeah, Silly Susie, you absolutely can. You absolutely can. You are very welcome, Zen Ginger. You can always join Team Blue over at Redfish Bluefish. Okay, Sand Creek Aquatics. Thanks, man. No hurries, he says. Ruby. Yeah, absolutely. There are a couple of people now that I need to visit in Florida. First and foremost, Father Fish, for sure. I need to get my butt down to Sarasota and visit Father Fish. And Miles, sounds like I got another place to visit in Miami. I actually have a really good friend of mine, Fred. He's down in Fort Lauderdale-ish, Hollywood. There you go. He's actually in Hollywood. He has an apartment in Hollywood. I go down from time to time and visit him. We're talking about maybe 4 weeks from now, me heading to Florida to hook up with my buddy, and maybe I'll stop by and see Father Fish, and something's fishy. Whoa, what's going on with my mouse? Okay, one more check real quick. I'll be right back, guys. We should be getting close. I can hear it hissing already. I'm really impressed with these Bluetooth headphones, actually, because I'm pretty far away from my computer, and my phone, and I think you guys can hear me just fine. Nice. 6 minutes left. Oh dear. I'll show you guys. Some of you have already seen this. Most of you have already seen this. These are the plants we're going to be using. I was planning to, pardon me, I was planning to do this today, but it's going to be at this for hours and hours. These are the plants. This is where we're getting our donor plants from. See, all this really, really dark, it's like black, you can't really see it. All this stuff in here, this really dark, almost black looking leaves because of the blue light, that's all Ludwigia Repens mini super red. There's like tons of it in there. Here's some more of it. We'll show you what it looks like. Hold on. Oh my God, this tripod. I hate you. There we go. See this really, really red plant? Skinny, right here, about, I don't know, 6-7 inches away from the front of the glass. That's Ludwigia Repens mini super red. That really, really red stuff. That's what it looks like underwater with really good light and CO2 injection and fertilization. It's been around for, I'd say about 7 months now. It's a morph of Ludwigia Repens. Those particular plants over there that I just showed you, I imported those from Slovenia as tissue cultures. About, I don't know, $400, $500 worth of them, all different kinds. Because this company named Hortilab, they had this really cool selection, and I went to them to get some to build out my stock, start this lab. Pretty cool. Pretty groovy. All right. So we should be, oops, refocus that a little bit. Okay, there we go. That's better. Yeah, Miles, I'll definitely spend some more time checking out your store online, dude. Thank you, Meek AM. Nice Repens in that tank. Yeah, tons of it. I got all kinds of stuff going out of there. Looks like we have someone else new in the room. Abu Fahad, thank you so much for joining. Abu Fahad asks, can you do rose tissue culture sometime? Sure. Yeah, I could try that. Why not? I've never actually tissue cultured rose before. Why not? We don't have to tissue culture just aquarium plants. We can do all kinds of stuff. Absolutely, we can take our shot at that. What I would really like to do with you guys is do some callus tissue cultures. Those are really cool. We'll talk about that tomorrow. I don't want to run over time. I know that Sand Creek's going to be going live. Yes, Abu Fahad, we'll do that sometime. Maybe we'll tissue culture some roses. So the tissue culture protocol for roses, trees, anything woody like that has like bark on it is going to use a different formula for sure than what we use today. So there are kind of like two categories of plant tissue culture, really. There's a lot of different kinds of plant tissue culture, but you have two categories. You have woody and herbaceous, right? So Ludwigia Repens, mini super red, blah, 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 whatever they're calling it this week, is that, would you consider that, is a pop quiz question for you guys, would you consider it a woody plant or an herbaceous plant? It's really, it doesn't have bark, right? It's not a tree, it can't be woody, it doesn't have wood. So it would be considered an herbaceous plant. Exactly, Miles got it, and so did Punchy, and so did Zen, and everybody. So with herbaceous tissue cultures, you can typically, it's about 3 weeks to 4 weeks per phase, like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Takes about 30 days for herbaceous plants. I mean, there's some wiggle room in there, but woody plants take much longer. Let me go look at the autoclave real quick, guys. Be right back. As I was saying, hopefully you can hear me. I know you can't see me. Herbaceous plants can be tissue cultured much more quickly than can woody plants. Woody plants like conifers, pines, things like that, junipers, they are quite easy to tissue culture, but they're very slow to tissue culture. So we've got 41 seconds left. I'm looking at it. We're at 15 psi. Definitely have not run out of water. This is great. that's always a plus. Oh, man, I'll tell you guys, we are getting hammered with wind and rain up here. I've had enough already. Wish I was down in Florida with some of you guys. And time. All right, I killed the timer, turned off the heat. Okay. That thing, as you could imagine, is really, really hot. I'm not bringing it down here right now, man. No. Okay, guys. We got Sand Creek Aquatics going live next. We've kind of decided we'll pick this up tomorrow, and I'll show you how we chop the plants, how we process them. Basically, we have to sterilize the plants, surface sterilize them. We actually have to wash them. We're actually going to use soap, water. We're going to use some really weird bubbling chemicals to surface sterilize them. I'm going to introduce you to a really cool agent that's new on the scene, a cleaning agent called sodium dichloroisocyanurate. It's really cool stuff. It's kind of new on the scene, pretty nerdy. But anyway, we will end it there. I really appreciate you guys tuning in for part 2A of my science series on how I DIY my own aquatic plant tissue cultures in my lab I built here in my house. Really appreciate you tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate it if you would. Also, if you wouldn't mind, please mash that thumbs up button so you get notifications of the next time I do a video, I go live, that sort of thing, make a post. Until next time, I guess that's it for now, guys. I really appreciate you joining me. Sorry we ran out of time, but I will be back tomorrow. We're going to pick this up tomorrow. I'm going to check the schedule, make sure I'm not going to walk on anybody's toes, and we'll pick it up then. I'll show you how we chop Ludwigia Repens Mini Super Red, how we sterilize it with these chemicals, and how we trim it down and place it into our media containers, and hopefully magic happens. Anyway, until next time, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Jason, and you've been watching Redfish Bluefish. Head on over to Sand Creek Aquatics. I'm going to be right behind you once I shut the stream off, and I'll see you guys over there. Take care. Bye-bye.